everyone, and welcome to
The Movie House.
Today we're going to talk to you about a movie from 1999 called The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, and I don't know who else. What'd you think?
I love it. This is one of my favorite movies. I'm a huge romantic. And two of the most romantic, tragic figures of literature are Dracula and The Mummy. And I'm a huge fan also of Hammer films. So my favorite old Mummy movies star Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. And then when this came out, I'm not a huge horror fan. I do my best not to watch scary movies. And so I didn't see The Mummy when it first came out because I'd heard it was scary. So I didn't watch it, and then a friend I worked with was like, "No, you should see it. You'll like it. It's not that scary." So I saw it, and I loved it. Everything about it. I even have a book about it. So it's wonderful, 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 wonderful movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. We have it in our collection. This is the Ultimate Edition collection DVD, which came out in 2001. So shortly after the movie was in theaters. And yeah, it's got some scary elements, but it's mostly an adventure sort of romp where you got deserts and camels and horses and treasure hunting and guns going off, as well as again this mummy guy running around causing trouble. And it's Brendan Fraser is good. He's now an Oscar winner. This is early on in his career when he was, well, not that early, but he was still a young hero type, and Rachel Weisz is excellent in it.
Her character is so adorable. I love her.
And we've watched it more than once since it is in our collection. The last time we watched it, I did notice though it's kind of funny that it does require them to make some pretty odd choices in order to make the story happen.
Like what?
Well, like opening and reading the book and just not even worrying about what might happen when people have warned you, don't do this.
Nothing ever bad happened just from reading a book.
Right. I mean, because it is set in the early 1900s. And so maybe at that point in time, people weren't as well versed in mummy lore.
Oh, that could be.
Today, if somebody said, "Hey, don't read out loud out of this magical book," most people go like, "Oh, I've seen a bunch of movies that's never works out, so I won't do it." So maybe within the story, maybe it holds up. But last time I was watching, I kind of noticed that.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's what I like about it too, is that there's a lot of good humor in this movie.
Yes.
And the acting is great, the story is great, and I like the humor of it. It's not just we're out to scare you. Like you said, it's more of a treasure adventure romp, and it's got some scary elements put in there and supernatural elements put in there, but there's a lot of comedy and romance. There's some romance in it.
Sure.
And so I just think that overall, it's just a really, really well thought film. Really good. I cannot say the same for the sequels.
No.
I do not. I've watched all the sequels. I do not like the sequels. And I was really, really bummed because this movie was so wonderful. And they could have done so much with the franchise, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I know that the immediate sequel, they just had almost a lot of everything that was in the first movie. It's like, don't do that. Why do you have to do that? But I don't like any of the sequels. Very disappointed in all those. But this one is aces in my book.
And I will say too that the special effects hold up really well in this movie. I've seen people talking online recently about how the special effects today are not as good as they were 20 years ago, like in this movie, because they took more time and care, and they weren't rushing things into the theater like apparently they do now. And so I was impressed when we watched it again recently that the special effects really do look good.
Yeah, and they have a lot. I mean, that's what was so unique about. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the original Mummies from like Hammer films, and probably even Boris Karloff. So to do this story more modern, with modern technology and modern methods, they made it really, really cool and, you know, gave it a lot of panache and things that you would never even think of for this type of movie. And like you said, it holds up. It doesn't look cheesy. It doesn't look outdated. And even though a lot of it's CGI, they did a really, really good job. And it's because it's a good story.
Right.
So, and they took their time doing it, like you said.
Right. Yeah. In particular, the CGI it holds up really well. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for us. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Mummy, 1999, or that's not what it's called. It's The Mummy.
The Mummy
from 1999. We'll see you next time.
Bye.